on 10 years and 3 days.
10 years and 3 days.
Will we make it for another year?
I think so.
Yeah, you're stuck with me.
I think so.
Anywhere.
I think we're gonna
Rent's
make
cheaper
it.
with Nick.
We always say divorce is just too
Hey,
expensive.
wait, it costs way too much money to get divorced. Honestly. And we still get along, so we'd still be friends. That would be the thing.
It would like be pointless.
Nah, I couldn't live without this guy.
So thank you, everyone. It is what?
I just said I couldn't live without you.
Oh, I could live without you.
You said I could? What a bee.
I couldn't. No, I
What a
really
bee.
couldn't.
I love him to pieces.
I really couldn't because like he feeds me. Like seriously, I'd starve. I like, how do you cook again? Like I haven't done it in 10 years, 13 years. So
Too funny. So hi everybody, I'm Jean-Luc.
I'm Nick.
And we're the Wellness Warriors.
And this is our regular Sunday campfire site, but tonight's more of a fall autumn river.
It looks like our trail.
Yeah,
It kind of has our trail look
So
to
we
it.
decided to switch it up today, and there's no fire, just nice fall scenery because it is fall.
It was too hot outside this week.
Yeah.
We actually had almost a summer-like weather for the last little bit.
Tonight we have a special guest. I'm actually going to bring her on now. So we have Nisha with us.
Yay!
Hi, Nisha.
Hi,
How are you doing?
I'm well. I'm very excited to be here and to
glad to have
thank
you
you
here.
guys again so much for the opportunity. It seems like forever ago that I actually spoke with you. That was in April, actually, when I was on my quote unquote March break. That was the end of my March break. And I feel like so much has happened since April and now.
Well, we've had a lot of people watch your interview. So if you have not caught
Nisha's Have You Met?
Just go on YouTube, put in the search bar, just look Jean-Luc and Nick or Have You Met Nisha, spelled Nisha, and you can actually watch her full interview on there about her own journey through life, actually, through life. That's what we loved about your interview, is that it was a very different interview than other people that we had before.
Well, because you are on a weight loss journey, of course. But you know what? This journey in itself, which we all go through, which is life, has so many facets that influence. And we were talking about this right before the show started, on how we have so many things that happen in our life. And we sometimes I can't say that word. Compartmentalize these journeys, when if we actually take all of these aspects of our lives and figure out a way to make them work coinciding, like they work together. They need to work together in order for us to feel fulfilled, for us to feel understand how certain things impact us. And by the way, Nisha, that blue is definitely your color. It looks fabulous on you, by the way.
Thank you.
I was like, wow.
Thank you. First of all, I was like, where am I going to wear a top like this in the next how often?
Sunday night with Jean-Luc and Nick.
I'm coming on with you guys. What a brilliant opportunity to dress up. But
I love that.
Go back to, there was a quote and I wanted to read it before I forget. You were talking about learning, and actually October is Learning Disabilities Awareness Month for those that may not be aware. And as I mentioned in my interview, and I mentioned before, I am I am learning disabled. I have a non-verbal learning disability. Learning disability is an umbrella term. There are many types of learning disabilities, and the type I have is one of them. But every day, what I'm trying to do over social media through the month of October is post different quotes. And today, the one that I found I thought was so apropos to what you were saying is, how we learn has nothing to do with how brilliant we are. And we're all on our journeys, and how we learn on our journeys shouldn't matter. Our success is not defined by how we learn or how our journey works out. Like the way my life has worked out is different from the way somebody else's life has worked out. And I'm grateful for, all of the things. I think I saw something recently saying, are you grateful for what you've been through? And I absolutely am, because I don't think if I hadn't been through some of the things that I've been through, I wouldn't be who I am.
And I
Oh,
love
I
hearing
love that you
Nisha.
said that,
I love
Nisha.
hearing that, Nisha. And I think I really encourage people to listen to your interview because you really dive into what you've gone through and your non-scale victories for life, things that you went through that you realize that, oh my God, I can't believe I was able to do this with what I was told I couldn't be able to do this. And it's all about all of us being told that we can achieve something sometimes. I know a lot of us probably in this on our wellness journey probably been told once or twice, you'll never lose that weight.
And I honestly think it's not only being told, sometimes because of culture and because of where we are born or who we are born in, the families that we are born into, we automatically assume that I need to do exactly what my parents did because that's normal, right? That was my parents' normal, but it might not be our normal, right? It
Exactly.
might not be what we need to evolve into.
Absolutely. And again, that goes right into my story that my family was born, my parents are from India. And actually, today is another day of significance for me. My dad would have been 76 today.
Today?
Today,
That's
yeah.
quite
Oh,
wow.
He would have been
wow.
Today,
76 today. Yeah. And he
wow.
passed away in 2004. And for those that don't know, he passed away from a second massive heart attack. He was actually in India when it happened. My sister and I were here. My mom we got the call February the 11th in the morning, and like literally, like it's been almost 18 years, and I can still play out how it happened in my mind. My mom and I did not sleep well the night before, and my mom gets a call at 7:30 in the morning that he had had a massive heart attack. She rushes off to India because there is an Air Canada direct nonstop flight Toronto to New Delhi, which thankfully she was able to get on because she was actually able to be in the ICU and see him, for a few times.
Wow.
And then
That's good.
my sister and I waited until we had a decision to make. Should we go and see him before or should we wait until after? And we actually waited until after it happened to board the flight so that I think all of the anxiety and stuff, and that part of it, that not knowing on the airplane would have been worse.
Worse.
Let me tell you,
Yeah.
I do not, if anybody has experienced that flight, I do not wish it on anybody. I literally went on that flight with my sister and I did not want it. Like, it was the moment where I needed to see my mom so badly and she wasn't with us. And we both fell apart as soon as we got off that plane. And going to India is not like an hour
No,
flight.
it's not going to the Toronto.
It's 15 hours of trying to cope and trying to hold yourself
Definitely.
together. And, we had to make a stopover. It was so hard, but going back to my dad's story, unfortunately, along with the heart attack, he had diabetes, he had kidney issues. He was not supposed to fly. He flew, he had water retention in his legs. And the doctor basically said, like, your heart is going to give, like, you're not taking care of yourself. So by the time he said yes to his health, it was just too late. And I'm very
And I love, Nisha, that you do use that as kind of a tool for yourself to propel your health forward, because you realize that if I don't do something, I could be in the same footsteps as my own father and follow the same pattern where my health is too late for me to make a change. So you're already trying today to be doing things that will help you.
Yeah. And there's also, there's physical health from his side. His two out of, he was a family of 4 brothers, and 3 of the brothers actually have passed away. His eldest brother is left, who just turned 88.
Oh, wow.
2 of his other brothers, unfortunately, there was mental illness as well. One passed away very young at 23.
Wow.
So, and again, coming from that culture, things were not talked about.
Right.
Mental health was
I remember you saying that in your culture, things like you're expected to find help within yourself or your own family. You don't go seek help from others. And that's something that's almost like shunned upon in your culture, to look to seek help from others, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's almost like you don't want to go so much like outside of the family.
Right.
There is so much family support. And I think that, like, to my parents and to my dad, when he was thinking about moving back to India when we were younger, I think that they thought that maybe I could get support with my issues from the family when I was there. And I would have been, more protected and all this stuff. But I look at what I've accomplished, what I've achieved, and it's thanks to the fact that I'm in Canada, in Toronto, and there's so much that I've accomplished.
I want to add something to Nisha, and I think something you need to it's how strong you are as an individual. Don't ever forget that, because you, as a strong, proud woman, female, said, I can lead my own life and I can continue. And finding the courage that you did to come up to your mom and say, Mom, I'm moving out. All those little things that you did and said, I'm independent, I'm strong. Yeah. My disability's not going to get in the way of me being who I need to be, because I am a smart and intelligent person.
And your parents loved you, which is tonight's word of the
love.
week. So love is tonight's word. Love. If you want to drink some water, corn and love. Corn, always a standard water word. And now love. Every time we say the word love, take a drink of water.
That was said a few times there. So chug, people, chug.
So Nisha, I want to say, because your parents loved you enough to know that you needed to, they allowed you to flourish. They allowed you to become who you became, because it could have went the other way. Your parents could have said no and solely stop you from doing what you're doing, but your parents were there for you and pushed you to try to do things. And even your dad, I remember your story when you shared with us when you're trying to get to university, how your dad was so adamant that you were going to make it there. You're going to do this. Yeah. And you did. He believed in you so much to be able to do that.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm so thankful for that moment there, the fact that he said that he believed in me so much more. And I say this honestly, truthfully, he believed in me so much more at that time than I believed in myself. I really thought I wanted to go to community college. I had wanted to, like I said in my interview, I had wanted to get out of doing my OACs. I would have loved to have finished school in grade 12, because I had such a hard time especially in high school and from elementary all the way till the end of high school. And even in university, I would say I really struggled through university as well. It's been, since coming out of university, going into college, finding what my calling was, and then being able to learn, have that time, that self-growth and that more of that self-awareness. I feel like I'm in such a strong place now.
I love hearing that.
Well, you are so, and so many people have said, you are so well-spoken, Nisha, and your thoughts are so...
I want a book on tape from Nisha.
You're
so soothing.
That's because, you know what? That's because, let me tell you, that's because with my disability, my verbal articulation, it's something that people don't understand. When I went as an adult to get an assessment, that's when I finally understood my disability, because in school, there was a team of people advocating for me. I didn't know what was going on, what was the specific, I knew from a piece of paper and and I knew what my struggles were. But as an adult, because I applied to teachers college and they needed an updated assessment, but there's something, it's measured on a curve. So on one end is I'm very high in my verbal ability, but the nonverbal side where I say spatial awareness, body language, developing social relationships, that's where my struggle was. And there's such a big gap between those two areas. That's what makes up my disability.
I love you just explaining, because everybody has different things that they have, and I think a lot of us don't understand what it is to have a different kind of
different abilities. And I think what ends up happening too, Nisha, is I love how candid and how open you are about talking about this, because it is a topic that we tend to brush under the carpet. A lot of people with disabilities either they don't want to talk about it because they don't know how to talk about it, and like you said, as a child, do you fully understand your disability at that primary school level? Even at a high school level, you sometimes don't understand it.
No,
It's not until you are faced with the challenges as an adult where you have to go, okay, well, how does this work into my life now? How can I still be independent?
Even in university, like I walked into that counseling office and said, look, I'm learning disabled. Here's my high school transcript. I need accommodations. I still didn't understand what I needed. Now, if I look back at some of the resources, some of the ideas I know now, I'm like, what if I had those back in university? Because you know what? I wrote notes in university and I'm no word of a lie. I don't think I understood a single word of what I wrote. I wish I had somebody had suggested I have a note taker.
Yeah.
Somebody suggest use the dictaphone, like the little tape recorder, record your lectures, because your speed, your processing speed of understanding and writing, like my brain and my writing, it wasn't working at the same
And I
time.
think another thing too that I want to touch upon that I talked to you about was that when we were growing up, I'm 38, so I'm not that old. When I was growing up, everybody that had any different ability was excluded from us. In primary school, there was separate classes for people that had different abilities. We were all segregated and separated growing up. So even for people like myself, I don't know what everything is. I've never been taught that stuff. So even for me, it's a lesson in learning what you're going through, because I've never been taught that kind of information myself. So all of us need to learn these things and understand that we're all different.
As silly as it sounds, we need to learn about what types of disabilities there are out there to be inclusive, so that we do promote this inclusivity and this awareness that no matter what, doesn't matter who you are, how you look, how you think, we're all people and we all need support in different ways, and we all need to feel part of a community.
Absolutely. You know, yesterday I was working with Paul. I'm actually, I entered a contest through an organization called Lime Connect. I did it last year, where I make a video. You make a video based on a written entry that you do based on, it's either for students or professionals with disabilities. And I'm working on this video, and I'm doing it as a Q&A. And one of the questions that I'm going to ask myself is, what is the biggest lesson that you as an educator with a disability, what's your biggest lesson to others? And Paul was pushing me. He said, why are you doing this? When you write, you have to think about why you're writing, like, why are you doing this for your audience? And what he helped me understand is my role is to absolutely normalize difference for the kids that I'm working with and for the people that I talk to.
Exactly. You're making exactly.
Yeah.
You're being the present, you're being the voice, and that is so important and courageous, Nisha. I want to make you realize how courageous it is for you to do this, because not everybody can put themselves out there, because when you put yourself out there, you do become vulnerable, right? You're putting all your cards on the table, and you're saying, hey, everybody, look at me. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing because you're saying, look at where I've come from. Look at how all the things that I've been able to accomplish, which is phenomenal. And I love that you're now weaving in your wellness journey throughout all of this, because now you're saying, okay, wait a minute here. I need to put me, not only my different abilities out there, but I also need to take care of my body and my mind and my heart. And I need to nourish myself with healthy foods and make choices that I'm going to be able to be proud of, which is amazing that you're doing. And I know about Limelight, right? Lime Connect. Actually, they work. TD Bank works with them quite often. So I know my friend who works at the bank does a lot of events with Lime Connect, which is amazing. Yeah. So
we do have a question for you, Nisha. So Helen actually wrote in, Helen Robinson, and she's asked, how does Nisha manage to stay so positive, always smiling when faced with so much adversity, a job that is stressful, particularly with COVID and just everyday life stressors? So how do you manage to stay so positive, Nisha?
Oh my goodness. You know what? And it's really funny that question came up, because that's a comment that when I was in school, that was a comment that actually used to bother me at first, because the teachers would say to me, how are you so positive? And I put on the disposition in school when internally I was struggling inside. Like my smiling in school, I would say, was almost like a coping mechanism because I had to put on this exterior to say, I'm okay. I'm going to get through this day. I'm going to make it through another school day. As much as I detest being here and the learning and, trying to build relationships that I'm not fitting in, but I'm just going to smile and like get through it all. But now I think I smile because I've finally like I'm figuring out who I am. I've gotten friends. I've gotten, a great job. I can smile because I feel like I fit in more. I fit in more to society,
That's awesome.
and I have more of a presence than I did, say, even 10, 15 years ago.
You're, you're learning who
And
you
it's
are.
not, yeah, and it's not, and I mean, I know it to say it's not about those things because I mean, those are the things that I almost had to put out of my head. Like I said, like, society puts this thing out there, like you have to marry somebody by a certain point. You have to have a job by a certain point. You have to have a child by a certain point. I met Paul when I was 30, 38, and it was like so many years of like just
Well,
being, all of the stuff that I had to go through to
you
get to meeting him, being
well,
ready
you even
to,
said that in your interview about when you met Paul that you didn't think you were going to ever meet someone at some point in
no,
your life. You
no.
thought you were going to never meet
You
someone,
gave
and
up.
you were like, okay, like it's never going to happen for me. But yet,
It did.
a lot of
I had to settle. I kind of taught myself to settle for the negative, and I still talk to myself that way sometimes. And it's hard for me to, it's hard when you're going through all that stuff to say, okay, like I'm gonna, I think inside of me, I knew I had to push and persevere somehow. But the foremost thought in my head was, no, it's not gonna happen because, I'm disabled. Guys are not gonna connect with me. I don't know how to relate to them. Okay, I understand sports, but what does that matter? Like it was just, yeah, yeah.
We don't.
you could probably teach us a few things about sports.
I this weekend I was actually asking Antoinette. I was like, "Is that the one at the yell Ford and Hut Hut?"
We walked in front of the Hockey Hall of Fame and we're like, "What is this place again?"
What sport is
I
that?
think Gretzky was in
See, but
at one
that's
point.
why I'm friends with you guys, because two guys who love Friends as much as I do. Come on, what could be better?
We do love our friends. We watch
We
it
do
all the
all the
time.
time, all the
They
time.
don't know that we
know
know
that
that they know that we know.
know.
They don't know. That's my favorite episode. Love it.
Yep.
The next question for
No, we're gonna get
Kim.
Kim.
You want
Kim has a
ask
question.
your question, Kim? Go ahead.
Yes, we have a question from Lois Tucker. She was wanting to know, Nisha, what are your tips and tricks for fitting wellness into your day when working full time, especially like the first week of school?
Okay, so I really used COVID was really a blessing for me in terms of my activity levels. So I found a body over COVID, and and it was hard. Like the last school year was crazy. I as many of you know, I'm an early childhood educator, so that means I work in kindergarten. So I work in a classroom with 25 little ones. And, last year we got all shuffled around because of the need to send a lot of ECEs to virtual learning. So I was split, my attention was split not from one room. I became an ECE of two classrooms. And I was the ECE who had her one classroom at one corner of the school and my other classroom upstairs at the other corner of the school. So all day, all I was doing, and I'm not kidding, I think I was known as the break giver because it would literally take me, like 90 minutes of the day was covering the teacher's breaks and my breaks and running back and forth. But when we were doing virtual learning at home, I found time to start to work out. And I started doing a body last year in March, and I only started with one class a day, and I would work out in the afternoons. Then I changed my routine, and I said, this working out, waiting till the afternoon to work out is not a good idea. So I worked
What
out.
made you change that?
What made
What
you
made
change
you
that?
I think I was sitting and like I was doing too much of not being active for like so long. Like, why was I? And I am a morning person. I'm extroverted, and I'm morning. I'm totally morning.
That's awesome to you that you learned that lesson.
And I love that you said that because it's so true. It's finding your prime time to put activity in.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. If you're not a morning person, you're not going to want to wake up to go get active in the morning. You could become one eventually, possibly. But if you know you are a morning person, that's when you get in those
I'm
activities.
not a morning person, but I worked out every morning at some point because I
How
knew
do
that
you
was.
guys wake up now for step? Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
But we also know now when we are active in the morning, we are more likely to be active for the rest of the day. If we aren't active in the morning, activity tends to go underneath the carpet.
Yeah.
You know, we push it aside because so many other things become a priority.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
So I
and I
love that
think-
you realize that, Nisha.
And what I did during virtual learning was I started doing boost at 6:30 in the morning. So I went from just doing the regular body class to now being able to, I mean, I can't even remember when I started introducing the other ones, but I do boost and I also do step on the weekends because it was like
I heard
was like,
step
is fun.
I heard step is fun.
You know?
I heard the two instructors were really cute too.
Yeah, really. and I also walk, you know, and even in the mornings, like if I wasn't doing a body boost, I was like waking up at 7 saying, okay, I gotta move before I shower and get ready for the day for virtual learning. Like from 7 to 7:30, I would get up and I would either go on the treadmill or do Antonetta's mud girl routine, find something for half an hour just to get me moving. But in terms of, and the other thing that I can talk about in terms of physical activity, one of the proudest things for me over the summer was being able to say that I did and participated in Mud Girl, because doing Mud Girl was such a huge accomplishment for me. And I think doing all of the body, doing, you know, and all of the walking and, you know, finally feeling good about myself, feeling strong enough to do Mud Girl was a pretty awesome feeling. And it's something that I'm already looking forward to next year.
So I love that you're touching on what you're doing now. So we actually had a question on Instagram a few weeks ago that we actually looked up. It's on our list still. And it said it was from GPM CKI BBE. So JPM. I don't know how to say. So the advice was she needs advice on beginning a walking or exercise routine.
What would your advice be for someone to start?
You know what? I think my exercise experience, like I talked to you guys in the interviews, I didn't like gym class in school. It was like all about competition and I do not like anything in school where things are about competition or putting people down.
Yeah.
Those things really in the school system, like I think things like, I'll even go as far as to say, like even the social aspect, I'll go into that for a second, like things like people giving each other, like signing up to give each other Valentines or whatever. Like if you're not, like I would be so upset because I didn't get chosen by somebody, and it was such an awful such an awful feeling.
I can relate to Nisha to what you're sharing about the gym too, because like I think if I would have been, and I've talked about this before too, and I don't know if anybody else on Zoom and watching us on all social media tonight can relate to this. If someone back in the day would have come up to me and said, "Hey, want to try a step class?" How my life might have been different. Because I know now I enjoy step class so much and I love it. I love dancing. This is who I am. So if I would have been taught this as a child, how my life would have changed. If Nisha, a body would have existed in high school and you could have joined a non-judgment activity class that you could do whatever you wanted,
Wow.
how different your life would have been going forward. And I think that's what some of the things that
That's
we learned.
what's absolutely important. And can I say, I'm thinking in my head of a Friends reference. Think of the Friends episode where Phoebe runs so awkwardly, and Rachel it doesn't want to run with her, right? Like that's such a, that was actually because I have fine and gross motor skill delay. Like I don't run in a when I run, I don't run in a straight line, and running is very hard for me. And they had something in school called the Great Race. And I came in last, and it was such a struggle for me. So I think, and going forward and moving forward and saying I was part of the gym. And I remember one day going to the gym, and I was using one of those climbing machines, and I fell and I scraped my leg. Nobody in the gym came to ask me how I was. I literally went home that day feeling like I'm invisible in this gym. I'm just me, like I'm by myself. Or if I went to like a yoga class run by the city, there's so many people in the class, nobody's going to ask me my name or how I am, or,
Right.
So finding something that you enjoy doing, even if it's just dancing at home to your favorite music, I think that's important. Like I've talked to you guys about, like finding those Bollywood workouts, because I love Bollywood.
You did say something earlier, Nisha, which I think is really interesting, is that we talk about, you're in a school setting, and we're trying to teach our kids nowadays, about inclusiveness and being, respecting each other. But even when it comes to physical activity, it's funny that we need to walk in order to be part of society nowadays. We don't need to, but that is a huge part of our everyday life as able-bodied people who can walk. But yet we don't teach children that walking is activity. And that's a great foundation for children to learn. Why can't we do walking classes instead of, why does it have to be, running? You have to be a runner, you have to be a soccer player, you have to be a baseball player. It
was very discouraging as a child because 100%. I was horrible at those sports. Yeah. And because I was never good at it, I just discouraged myself, and I thought, okay, I'm not good at sports, therefore I'm not good at the gym, therefore I'll be big.
Every single team,
on
you name it, I was on the bench. I was a number that filled the roster to make sure they had enough people on the team, but yet never was I allowed to play because I was not as good as the other kids.
Yeah, and I think also, I wish that schools would invest in there would be some adaptive equipment.
Love that.
Because what about those students who cannot walk? What about those students, what about, I'm thinking of somebody like, Paul or his son, Colin, they could be excellent, they could even go into schools and teach like adaptive sporting activities in other schools to classes like adaptive games, so that the, kids can understand different games.
You even brought that up at the picnic, at the body picnic last weekend with Paul, Nisha. And I love that you brought that up, because you asked me, you said, is there any type of adaptive step? And I never really thought about it, because Paul's like, I'd love to do step class, but I am legally blind. So there's no way that I could come up and down a step without having something to hold on to.
But then for him also, he would need something behind him too, because
to protect it.
He could, because of his sense of not being able to see at all where he is.
Right. Yeah. And then you had also mentioned your friend who does step as well, Rie, who actually is in the chat, and she just put a comment in there. Yeah. Same concept, where she has cerebral palsy, and she's like, I'd love to be able to do certain things, but sometimes it's not that I can't do them. I just need to do them differently. And I think a lot of times putting that and looking at that whole idea of doing things differently and applying that to anyone's journey. And no one
you
does
kick ass
things
at
the
steps,
same
so
way.
she's amazing at steps.
Oh, yeah.
So Rie is like one of our favorite steppers, so she's amazing at it. So you can't discount yourself. Activity is not just being a runner. It's not just being a soccer player. It's not lifting weights at the gym. If you are walking every day, you are a athlete. You are active. You are doing the things that work for you, for your body. We had a huge revelation, the two of us recently. I've been talking about my running. A few weeks ago, I ran. My knee started hurting after I ran, and I turned him. I was like, why do I keep forcing myself to run all the time? Every time I do it, eventually I hurt myself in some way, and it then sets me back from other things.
It doesn't allow him to do the things he actually enjoys, but then he's like, oh, well, because I need to burn more calories at this specific moment in
So
time.
I'll go for a run.
When if instead of doing the 30-minute one, you do a 45-minute walk and you still burn the
Yeah.
same calories and you're still being active, and it's
Yeah.
better than sitting there.
And it's like, we've been talking about our rings the last few months. We are at 152 days consecutive of closing all our Apple Watch rings. The longest streak we had when we had it at 1,000 calories back in the day was 5 days. Was
Yeah.
5
Oh,
days.
yeah.
Because
That's
we could never do it
amazing.
every single day. But now that we've changed it to half of it, we've gotten it every single day. My Apple challenge last month from my Apple Watch was 23 days at double activity ring. I did it.
That's
That used to be my
amazing.
old goal.
Yeah.
So how, like, you see what I mean, guys? By setting something that's more achievable for yourself, something that you enjoy doing, it leads you to do more things than discouraging yourself. And I think that's what the lesson we've had to learn with all this.
Absolutely. And I think now when I started school, I have taken on walking home because I need, first of all, I need the mask break. Like I'm wearing that mask all day and I'm just done with it. I don't want to be wearing it for a second longer.
And I will say this, Nisha, this is Nick and I's first venture out this weekend. You know, we went out for our anniversary.
yeah.
We spent the day out. This was the first time that we've had to wear our masks for as long as we've had, because we've been staying at home.
Right.
The longest we've been out was to go to the grocery store for maybe 50, 60 minutes tops.
Can I share my Ripley story with everyone? My glasses shooting, losing.
Oh, of course.
So I did want to share a story with everyone because I thought we wanted to touch upon our
he's
weekend.
asking me like permission.
And
no, you can't.
So as you all know from social media, we had a very busy weekend. We did some touristy stuff.
I said no.
You said no? Kyle, shut up.
Go for it.
So we did touristy stuff. We visited CN Tower. There's actually a live video on our Facebook group of us going on to CN Tower. We also went to Ripley's. So at Ripley's, we're at the...
My tower is bigger than his.
At Ripley's, we actually got to the area where you can pet the rays, the manta ray or the stingrays or whatever those are, they're called. And so Nick is there. I'm wearing a sweater. My sunglasses are clipped on my shirt. I lean forward to pet one and my glasses fall in the water. My first thought is, oh no, they're going to eat it and hurt themselves. So I literally dump my hand in, grab it, pull it back out.
With his
sweater on.
Oh my God.
I smelled like fish for a day.
Oh my God.
Smelled like fish. I was full of seawater.
But I want to bring something up. Again, as human beings, what do? We react sometimes too quickly without thinking. And it's taking those moments to pause to actually make maybe, I wouldn't say a better decision, but to make to think about the decision we're going to make.
But this applies also to your activity journey. Picking the right things for you. Like I said earlier, running was what I was always trying to achieve. I've been trying to be a runner for years. It's been like something that I have to do. Maybe it's not something I have to do. Maybe I have to come to terms with my body each time I try doing this. It's not reflecting. It's not agreeing with me. We have someone who was doing step class who reached out to us saying, I can't do step. Every time I do it, my ankle hurts. I can't do it. Can I give my step to someone else? Step might not be for you, and that's okay. You have to find what's good for you. No one's going to dictate or tell you what your right thing is. You have to decide what it is. And that's why sometimes when we see sometimes other people judge other people's journeys, tell them that you shouldn't be doing this, shouldn't do that. You shouldn't be teaching people that way. You should be saying, I do this way and it works for me. What you're doing is great for you. Maybe you can borrow some things I'm doing as well, right? And that's the thing. Even in activity, we often feel that because someone did this, I have to do it too. And if there's someone did this and they lost weight, then I have to do it as well in order to lose weight. And I think we need to learn to trust ourselves with our own bodies and figure out what works for us.
I think that's the whole thing with society's projections, right? That you have to do exactly what is determined for you. It's not okay. Like I think we kind of believe it's not okay to believe in what we're doing is right. Yeah. But you have to be able to learn to understand. And I think I'm learning to understand that what I am doing is absolutely right? For like the choices that I'm making, the decisions that I'm making. I think like I said, I've learned a lot in the last 5 years moving out of my house, moving out of my mom's house. That was the right decision for me because it helped me start to say more of, yes, I'm ready to do all these other things.
Right. You're finally, you know what? You've just said it right there. You finally said yes to yourself and allowed yourself to lead your own destiny and not let other people lead it for you.
Yeah.
No.
I love that.
No.
You have your hand up again. Do we have another question for Nisha? I love this.
Yes, we do. Marion wanted to know, Nisha, what is your go-to healthy meals and recipes that support your efforts to be healthy?
Love that question.
Yeah.
All right. So let me be honest. Right now, I would say activity is more of my strength than food. I'm being very honest.
Oh, we love the honesty because we're the same way.
Love.
Readjusting to school has been slightly overwhelming, and I look for convenience and rather than cooking. But if I do cook, one of the things that I love to do is do, one of my go-tos has been like sauteed ground chicken and garlic, and then throwing in some broccoli slaw and doing like the egg roll in a bowl, having that with either quinoa or brown rice and soy sauce and some chili sauce. That would be like an easy.
Sounds delicious. Are we coming into
When
soon?
are you cooking us dinner?
Are we coming into soon?
Guys can come over whenever.
Woohoo! Yay!
Let's make a date.
Yeah.
Love it. Love that.
And one of the things I have to say, one of the things that's been talking about food, and he will let me openly talk about this. I think Paul and I being together, like the first year that we were together, we were both like food, like about restaurants and like, when we were going on dates and stuff. And also one thing that I learned was, because Paul is blind, he doesn't remember when he grocery shops, he doesn't always remember what's in his fridge and where it is. And that was a challenge. There would be so much stuff that he would throw out because he had forgotten and he wouldn't be aware. And if I could, I would buy him a talking fridge, but those are silly.
But it's, it's funny that you say that. He actually, and I like, his reasoning for food wasting makes sense, right? We as humans who are fully sighted do the same thing, and there should be no reason for us to do it, right? Thing.
Yeah.
So it is interesting that there should be something that allows him to know what's in his fridge, or you know what I mean? There is so many things that are more challenging for people that are differently abled, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
And that's what we need to make sure that we start noticing more and realizing and making, and then finding ways to accommodate that.
Absolutely. And he does do a lot of his cooking is done in the microwave because he does not use the stove in the oven. But one of the things, and I was really like proud of him for this, like a couple of weeks ago, like last weekend, he said to me, you know what? You need to help me sit down, and we need to sit down together, and we need to really talk about meal planning when we're together, because then you're going to continue to help me with cooking.
Love that.
He has started to eat much more healthier since we've been together. He's eating more vegetables, doing so much, and
you're having an impact on him as well and his journey.
Yeah, and I think it's great that I'm seeing the impact after 3 years, the impact that we've had on each other.
I love that. And you know what? I will say this right there. better together.
Yes.
Anybody who's out there who's doing this with a partner who's supportive doesn't mean that they're doing the exact same thing as
They
you
don't
are.
even need to be on a wellness journey of their own,
But
as
if
long
there's-
as they're willing to be part of your wellness journey.
Yeah.
That's important.
That's what
right?
matters. And a lot of people out there don't have that support. So the fact that you do have it is amazing to have.
And it's almost like you've become an influencer.
yeah.
You're making them make better choices because you care for them so much
So-
and you want them to be around with you.
Absolutely. But I have to tell you guys a funny story. So
Sure.
this
Love
is a
a funny
funny story on the weekend. So Paul and I like to have coffee after, like when I get there on Friday, I go to his place straight from work. And he says to me, I ordered you a coffee and something to eat. So I get to his place and he pulls out the coffee and it's melted. And I look at the label because he doesn't know what a Frappuccino is supposed to look like. He had ordered a Starbucks for me in the morning and he had put it in the fridge. So when I got there, it was this melted caramel drink.
Oh.
I had to say, I love you, but that's not what a Frappuccino looks like.
It's been defrappatized.
I
Oh,
love that.
But I had to share that. I was like, I just had to take a picture of the cup of, melted caramel. Yeah.
that's definitely when you say it's the thought that counts,
Yeah.
right?
It's a
Because
thought that
he
counts.
knows it's something that you love and that you would enjoy. But how sweet is that? And Paul is
Yeah.
a sweet man.
It was
Love
so
him
awesome
to
meeting him
pieces.
last
Love
weekend.
him to pieces.
So I have one last fun question before we go into updates for next week and stuff that happened this week for us. So we had a question from Susan, and her question
I'd love
was,
to ask this about you.
so Nisha, if you could have one celebrity for the day to hang out with, just one, who would it be? And you have to think about it too, hun.
Oh my God, besides you guys?
We're not celebrities, though. You met us.
You met us.
We're
I
friends.
know.
We're friends.
I know.
You're like,
There are, oh my gosh, that's a hard question because there are so many people. But I would have to say, if I had to pick one, I would say Michael Bublé.
Oh, you want him to
I know.
serenade, right?
I love Michael Bublé's
he's
music.
funny too.
I think Michael Bublé is good looking.
Oh, definitely.
I said that.
I wouldn't kick him out of bed.
Oh my God. Okay. So funny Michael Bublé story. So
Can I join?
not last year, the year before. I get tickets. I got myself a ticket to his concert. I forgot that July 26th was Paul and my anniversary and the concert was on that day. I had to scramble and ask Ticketmaster what I paid to get my ticket changed to
Oh.
the next day. I
Aw.
totally forgot.
Wah,
That's,
wah.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary to me. Bye, Paul.
It happens. I forgot my
Yay!
mom's birthday once. She never lets me forget it. To this day, she never lets me forget it. One time I was in university. She'll never let me forget it. So yes, it happens. It happens.
So who's yours, honey?
I think the celebrity that I would want to hang out with for one day, I think it would be, out of everyone I love, I think it would be Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah. mm.
Right.
I just think that having her history of what she started with, and then I loved her on many things like Star Trek Next Generation, Sister Act, the Associate, Page Master. I
The
watched
View.
The View. I've watched her on so many things. I would love to be like, hey, what was going on during all those things? How's Barbara Walters? What was she really like? I want to ask all these questions to her and see, and just
Oh.
hang out with her and see how she is.
No, he's talking about Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
Whoopi. Nick is a huge Whoopi fan. And I will tell you this because we talked about her last night with everybody. I will say, Celine, I want to spend the day with Celine Dion. I would love to spend the day with Celine. Her and I would
Would you
sing
pet
all
her
day.
hair?
I would totally pet her hair. I would pet her hair and she would bark.
For you then. That's something that
Yeah.
you showed
So
last
Kathy
night.
Griffin, who's a comedian, met Celine, and she said the first time she met her, they were taking pictures, and she had Celine come to a benefit, and she's like, Celine is very tall and Kathy is very short. She's like, we're standing there taking pictures. There's a camera here, camera there, and all of a sudden, I didn't realize, but I was petting Celine Dion's hair, and I her, and then she's like, wow, I'm petting you, Celine. She goes, then I will bark for you like a dog. Ruff, ruff. That is,
That was Celine.
that's Celine. And I've been told that she's very funny and very, like, she loves to be made fun of because she is just, that's the type of person she is. So I think we would have a heyday. Her and I would get along great.
I think that would be ours.
Yep. At least for today.
So Nisha, we want to thank you so much for agreeing not only to do the Have You Met interview and also doing this with us, and also for being such a good sport, because you were literally the last interview and we had to delay you for such a long time. So we also for being okay with the delay, and we love your story. We love you sharing. We love having you here every single week and having you in step with us.
And
it's just,
she mentioned it in her interview as well. Nisha does have a blog that she writes.
Yes.
It's not I know she said she hasn't been writing it, but it is, if you want to mention that as well, Nisha, that'd be great. Cause I'd love
Okay. So my blog is entitled The Swan Transformation. And like I said in my interview, the reason behind the title is that when I was in elementary school, one of my teachers told my mom that my journey resembles that of the ugly duckling and that there would be hardships in my life, but how I've transformed over the years, hence the name, The Swan Transformation. And I want to say before I go, I want to really thank the both of you. Like through a body, I've gotten to know two wonderful people who have also really helped to normalize difference, who help people appreciate who they are, who inspire and empower and are willing to just be so authentic and truthful about who you are. And I think that you guys have already made an incredible difference. And I feel very privileged to know you and to call you my friend.
Oh, thank you so much,
Likewise,
Nisha.
Nisha.
We feel the
Like,
exactly
yeah.
same way about you, Nisha. You are such a special person, and we are better people for knowing you.
Yeah, I since the first time we met you, because I think the first time we really got to know you was at the retreat. I think that was the first time we really got to know you, who you were, and we got to talk to you one-on-one. And ever since then, we've always saying how we just love you and how you're such a ray of sunshine every time we see you.
The hug I got at that picnic was amazing.
Long overdue.
Yes, long overdue.
And it was so natural for me to just finally meet you guys in person. And again, like, thank you for all that you do, because again, sharing your journey, I know hasn't been easy. Being open about your struggles also, I really kudos to both of you. We are all
Thank you so much, Nisha. Thank you so
Thank you so much, Nisha.
It means like we just love being able to do this for everyone. And again, it keeps us accountable, and we love helping everybody else out there just do the best they can every single day. Because I think that this world is tough. It's tough to go through this world every single day, and having that little support, that little corner. When someone reaches out to us and says, "Hey, thank you so much for posting that picture," like Michelle said at the beginning of the at Zoom earlier, posting those pictures helped me kind of be part of that. We could have just said nothing the entire weekend and not posted anything at all, but we know that you guys enjoy seeing what we do, so we love sharing because it makes you guys happy. It makes us happy when you guys are happy. So it's like a whole happy circle that ends up happening. So happy. So thank you again, Nisha, again for joining us today.
No problem. And I will share, I can put up my social media handles on the Swan Transformation, my Facebook page. I can put that up on the website.
Would love that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nisha.
No problem.
So we did want to end today with a few discussions on things that you guys probably saw happen this week in our group. So one of the things that we talked about was we're no longer visiting virtual workshops for WW. We shared in the groups kind of a few things that happened to us in the end of spring last year. So you want to get the details, go read there. We just want to thank everyone for the support. We were very worried about telling everybody, all of you, that we were not going to do visits anymore. We thought people would turn on us. I know it's a weird thing to think, but that's what we thought.
We don't want people to think that we're angry and upset. No, we've already come to terms and moved on from this. Yeah. But we needed to make sure that you guys understood where we were coming from and the decision that we made. And we're not upset with WW. We're not angry. We're still doing in person. We've got 5
we got a list of dates and times for
we're trying to fit it into our calendar somehow.
We're trying to visit some locations in Ontario right now.
Exactly. So we're trying to do that. And we just want you guys to realize that it's not saying that we might not come back to them at some
No.
point, but now
we think if we do come back, it'll be very different.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be, instead of coming in when we want, we're actually going to have coaches reach out to us personally.
Exactly.
Just like the UK and the Ireland do to us right now, the coaches actually reach out to us and say, hey, can you come on this day? And we say, yes, we can. And we show up and we can do it. And we think that in Canada and the US, we might do the same thing in the future. Like maybe it's down the line. If we start doing them again, we'll ask coaches to reach out to us instead to actually set up times for us to visit and make it more so that we're not showing some of the complaints we got was that we were showing up to workshops that weren't expecting us. Some coaches got flustered about it. And so that's why we don't want to do that anymore.
And then there was also, we said it, there was also a comment made at a workshop that we loved going to, and
it completely destroyed us.
It absolutely destroyed us. And we said, you know what? We're not letting things destroy us on our journey anymore.
Yeah.
So sometimes we need to step away.
And so we decided to make that decision.
That's what we've decided to do.
So hopefully you guys all understand. Everybody said they did. So we just want to thank you all we want to thank you all for all the support on that day. And also thank you all for all the wonderful,
amazing comments,
happy anniversary,
and the
wishes that we got.
Wow!
I mean, I thought it was a holiday.
It was.
There were so many posts we could not keep up that day.
Could not keep up whatsoever. So thank you so much. It meant the world to us. It was really cool to be able to spend the day with Antonetta and Matilda as well on our anniversary. They kept saying, I can't believe you want to spend your anniversary with us. And we're like, we can't believe you want to spend our anniversary with us.
Yeah, we had fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was great to be able to show Matilda around Toronto a little bit, give her that experience, because honestly, when she came to town, she didn't think she was going to see a lot of that. She thought she was going to just be seeing a lot of people. And we said, girl, you're in Toronto. You got to go up the tower. Yeah. You got to go up the tower at least. So that was such a great experience. And then having Debbie and Rosie come visit yesterday as well was so much fun.
I'll share a story, guys. So Matilda, Antonetta, and Debbie, because Rosie already been here before. So all three of them said, walked in the condo like,
I know where everything
is now.
It makes sense.
So when
Matilda keeps going, when Jean-Luc says he goes to pee, we'll know where I know where he pees.
Like they know now, like how it's all set up. So like Kim has also been at her house, so she knows how we set things up. So yes, it is a small condo. When you actually see it live, people think it's bigger than it is. No, it's not a huge condo. We actually
one big room
with two small rooms. So it was fun having them just to show them where we live. They walked on our trail with us, the famous trail that we always take walks on. They came and saw that as well, which is a lot of fun to have. And we'll be doing it. There's other people we actually had plans with in our surroundings. So we'll be doing stuff with other people as well.
Another thing we wanted to bring up real quick was if anybody is interested in possibly being a guest on our campfire chat, let us know.
What we're saying is that some people don't want to do the Have You Met and Campfire chat combination. So people might say, I'd rather just come on live on a Sunday
and get questions asked, and I'll answer my questions. And we're more than willing and open to that. So please let us know.
Send us an email.
Hello, send us a message.
hello@jeanlucandnick.com, which is another change in this week.
Yep.
Our email changed. It's now hello@jeanlucandnick.com. We've also changed
We're gonna get the peanut gallery to come say hello on the fireside chat.
We've also changed.
I don't know.
We've also changed all our social media handles to @Jean-Luc and Nick as well to find us a lot easier. Again, it's all about we realize our names. We shared with you guys last week our story, what happened. It's all about sharing Jean-Luc and Nick the experience, because that's what we are. We are Jean-Luc and Nick, and we love our names. So
the experience.
it
sounds so like it's. Sounds so weird.
So we also weighed in for the first time yesterday at 11 a.m. on all social media. We did on TikTok, we did on Instagram and Facebook. And we'll be doing that going forward.
At 11 a.m. every Saturday morning.
11 a.m. every Saturday going forward for the next few weeks, except for one weekend because we're out of town.
Yes. And no more songs during the weigh-in. The songs will be happening on TikTok. Whenever we are able to put a song up, we will make sure you guys are all aware of that.
Actually, you're going to be having a lot of fun on TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok's going to be like a fun place.
We have ideas on
We're going to be playing games. We're going to be asking you questions. And
it's going to be fun.
Not on Connect. We're not on
No, we're not on Connect
anymore.
Not on Connect
for the weigh-ins anymore.
Because again, it's a live video. So if you want to see it, just go to our website, jeanlucandnick.com. go there and you can be able to find all our social media information on there to find all their links. And then Susan, if you want to send us a message too, send us an email. We'll give you the information on how to find us.
And Michelle as well. I see you'd like to do both as far as be part of that. Let's get together and we'll figure out a time when we can have you on.
For
as
anybody who wants to do a Have You Met or want to do a show with us on Sunday, send us an email at hello@jeanluc.com and we'll get together with you to figure out what we can do with you on the show. So
the video we made last weekend is on TikTok, Monique. The video we made at the Abadi picnic is already on TikTok. It's been there. It's got over 2,000 views.
Is that the one?
I believe so. Yep. It's got over 2,000 views on that video.
And then Sarah's asking us, is this the new, or Susan's asking us, this is not
the new kitty condo.
This used to be at the window. The kitty condo is actually over there.
I'll show you quickly.
Oh,
the kitty condo is the white shelf over there by the window.
Only Zoom can see it.
Only Zoom can see it. Sorry, unfortunately.
So that's the main things we wanted to kind of catch you up on this week. So we actually did perfect time at 7:58.
7:58.
So we can actually share with you guys our social media handles because things have changed this week. So we'll have it on screen for you guys. And this week we won't do the weird. It won't be doing a weird sound like last week.
We figured out what the issue was.
I fixed the issue last week. I know what I did wrong. So here's all our social media information. Again, everything's changed. You can see it's all changed on this sheet as well. At Jean-Luc and Nick, just use that to find us everywhere now. We have changed it everywhere. We're all known the same way at all places. If you're looking for some of our products that we use regularly, like you want to talk about?
Yes. If all of you love Clubhouse spices, go to our shop. I've posted all of the huge containers of Clubhouse on Amazon are cheaper than at the grocery store.
The store price is usually $6
for a small one when you're paying $9 to $12 for the Amazon. Big one on Amazon.
So we have those on our shop. The link is right now on there for you to see that this size. This is $9 on Amazon. So you actually get more bang for your buck. So if you go to our shop, jeanlucandnick.com/shop, they're all listed there, as well as even our phone cases are on there now because Arlene requested it.
Was like, Arlene wanted our phone cases.
Arlene wanted our phone cases, so we added it on there.
And I think Antonetta's buying one now too.
Yeah, I think so too. She loved our phone case. And then you can also see our PO box is on here as well as our email, hello@jeanlucandnick.com. We want to thank you all for joining us across every social media platform. We had people on TikTok all night, we had people on Instagram all night, we had Facebook, we had Zoom and YouTube. We thank you all for joining us.
Thank you so much. And that's a wrap. Have You Met Nisha? Take one.
Do we have to do any retakes?
No retakes. She's a pro.
She's a pro.
She's a pro.
Have a great week, everyone. We love all you. We can't wait to see you next Sunday.
There's been a lot of love. I don't see anybody drinking water. People.
See you all next week. Bye.